We got a question recently wondering, how do I reduce the amount of first session no-shows? Man, wow. We'll talk about that in just a second. Hey, everybody, we're Kate and Katie of the Private Practice Startup, and Level Up is a series all about you where we answer your most burning questions and help you build and grow that dream practice and live that dream lifestyle.
Yes, before we dive into the answer to this question, we want to say a quick thank you to TherapyNotes for sponsoring this series and for being such a great support of Startup Nation. So if you're in need of an EHR, definitely check them out. You can get your first 2 months for free by using code PPS. As in the Private Practice Startup, just go to therapynotes.com.
Man, I'll say, having a business, there's a lot of learning lessons and no-shows were definitely part of my learning lesson. But I finally got that handled overall. So I'll just share with you a little bit about what I did in regards to that. You've probably been listening to us for a while, or if you have, Kate and I are all about systems. And when you're really clear on your systems actually help you convey clear expectations to your clients of what they can expect, what they need to do next. And it actually really helps to increase client care and reduce a lot of the miscellaneous stuff. So I definitely remember when I would get a lot of no-shows, but one of the things that I learned is it was kind of like a psychological behavior pattern of what people would do. So I'd have the initial call, I'd follow up with an email of next steps of what they can expect. I would ask them to do an action, which is respond back and confirm their appointment. Another thing too is you can actually have them take another step, a commitment of filling out stuff, maybe sending that back to you. The more that you make them take a commitment, the more likely that they're invested. What I did realize is if they didn't respond, of course, I would email them and call them. And if I didn't hear from them again, I would reach out one more time, and then I would put a deadline. And I would say, if I don't hear from you by this time, I'll be unable to hold your appointment because this appointment time is only allotted for you. And so inevitably what would happen is either, oh my gosh, they completely forgot and they would respond right away, or if they kind of fell off the train or the wagon or whatever and they weren't going to come anyways, then that would free me up. Then because I was clear, because there was a deadline with a specific date and time, it would have freed me up then to fill that appointment. I remember the days that I used to go wait in the office hoping they would show up. So I totally feel you. Hopefully this video helps you a little bit to reduce those no-shows. Kate, what about you?
Yeah, it's really good to set the expectation and let clients know that you only have a limited amount of openings for new clients who are really committed to the process. So that lets people know that your time is valuable, that you work with people who are really committed. So it kind of plants that seed. And then Katie mentioned the word systems. We love systems, and EHRs like TherapyNotes allow you to have that really streamlined system in place with the merchant services, with a telehealth platform, with the EHR, the notes, all of that in one place, which is fantastic, right? So as your practice grows, you have everything all streamlined, and it also increases the experience, just a positive experience with this potential client who's becoming a new client for the first time. Maybe it's the first time in therapy, maybe they've had other therapists in the past. It doesn't really matter. It's important to think about your system there. So what I found helpful and what I encourage people to do is to set that expectation in terms of letting your client know that once they've booked this session, that they need to have all of the paperwork completed and sent back to you within the EHR within a time frame, whether it's 24 hours or 48 hours in advance of their first session. That gets them skin in the game for them. They have to sit and really think through this 20, 30 minutes long of completing your intake paperwork, which you send to them through your EHR. You also have them input their credit card information into the EHR. So they do their whole profile. The credit card information is in there, makes your life a lot easier, and it gets the skin in the game for them. So it really helps to weed out people who aren't committed to the process. And if you don't hear from them by that time frame, it's important to follow up. Maybe there's a mix up with the email. Katie makes a really good point about having them let you know that they received it. So that way, there's not a mix up with the email and you're getting closer and closer and thinking they're flaky, but there is actually something that they haven't received. So making sure that you have those systems in place and that you're super clear, it will help you to reduce those first session no-shows.
Yeah, one thing I've done, and I've had this happen a few. Yeah, one thing I've done, and I've had this happen a few times, where someone did no show and they kind of fell off. And then maybe 6 months later, they called because they really wanted the appointment. So I would talk about what happened. And then I would say, to really protect your appointment, I am going to ask that you pay for your session up front. Then that protected my time. Again, like Kate's talking about skin in the game. Then they have skin in the game. Like they paid for their session. They know that they're coming. I'm definitely willing to give a second chance, but I'm not willing to give a second chance no show. So that was really helpful as well in my practice too. So
yeah, so this was a great question. We hope our answers were helpful and allowed you guys to think about your systems and what's working and what you can improve upon. And if you're really struggling in private practice and you're not really filling your practice with the clients you absolutely love, or feel like you're not really living a life that's aligned with how you want to live, right? We want to encourage you to take advantage of our Dream Private Practice Playbook. This is the exact methodology that Katie and I used to create our 6-figure private practices, and we've helped countless other therapists to do the same. So we want to share that gift for you for free. Take advantage of it. It's in the resources section. And in the meantime, we're here cheering you guys on. You guys got this.
you guys got it. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Thanks.